Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Humble Healer podcast with Dr. Quang Lei. And thanks for tuning in with me this time and for this episode. And I think this is a special one because I will share with you that today we'll be talking about facing sadness and grief with acceptance and contentment. We talked about that today because I think I just lost my father 2 days ago to a long battle with dementia, and he was fortunate to have been with his family, living with my mother and my two siblings, taking care of him the whole time. And also he died in my mother's arms, actually, when she was saying her final words to him toward the end. She witnessed his last breath, and I think that he was relieved and probably ready to go, hearing her words, the words of the love of his life. And I am sad but grateful of the smooth ending that he had with minimal suffering. And also all of us 7 siblings and at least 10 grandchildren in some way and form were able to say goodbye to him, with also other relatives and his brother and sister-in-law. I hope he's going to a better place. He was a good man, and he survived Vietnam War, working with the U.S. government, working for the South Vietnamese government during the Vietnam War as an administrator for years, and was in the communist prison for a few years after 1975. And after that, he worked mainly as a tailor and also a teacher for other students how to be a tailor until we were able to go to the U.S. in 1990 as political refugees. He's been dedicating his life to his family, children, siblings, and his wife, and we will remember him fondly. So let's talk about sadness and grief today. And it is difficult, but let's see how we can come up with acceptance and contentment in these difficult moments in our lives. So for sadness, what's the role of sadness? It can lead us directly to empathy and compassion. Studies have shown people in sad mood have better judgment and memory, and more sensitive to social norms, and more motivated and more generous than happier groups. That's why a lot of people are drawn to music or other art forms that make them feel sad. We should embrace all emotions because they all have necessary role in our lives. It is sadness that brings us together more than happy times, how we bond during funerals, allowing us to reach out to others. Sadness can last several hours to days. Unlike fear and anger, which can last an average of about 30 minutes. Both the Dalai Lama and the Desmond Tutu advocated for the kind of happiness called eudaimonic happiness that is characterized by self-understanding, meaning, growth, and acceptance, including life's inevitable suffering, sadness, and grief. This is contrast to hedonistic happiness that requires only positive states and banishes sadness to emotional exile. Through grief and sadness, one's learned to generate a greater sense of motivation and enthusiasm by focusing on fulfilling the deceased wishes, purposes, and legacies, and by focusing away from ourselves. Poor me, what am I going to do? How would they feel if they were still here with us? How would they be doing? What are we doing that would make them happy? The deceased. Stay focused. Self-focused grief may lead one to a path of despair and desperation. My organization was generous and grant me this day for bereavement to grieve my father, and I think it's a good day to honor him and also talk about how I face sadness and grief. I think that's what he would like me to do. That's what he would like me to take this time to serve humanity, to help others. Not focusing on self allows me to deal with this grief with more acceptance and contentment. There is a story of a prophet asking a grieving woman from the loss of her son to get mustard seed from a family that has not been touched by death. She went to hundreds, even thousands of family, and she never found one, and realized that her suffering was not unique, and she was able to bury her son and move on. Grief is a reflection of love. Without love, there would be no grief. To linger in the longing, the loss, The yearning is a way of feeling the rich, embroidered texture of life, the torn cloth of a work that is endlessly being ripped and rewoven. Don't block that sadness feeling. Breathe and feel that. It's okay to feel sad. Never block it. Share that with your loved ones. Allow them to share your burden, because that is an expression of care and loving. Let me read you a poem about feeling for emotions that I got from the book Mindfulness by Dr. Ron Siegel. It's called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some monetary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor, or come and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because it has been sent as a guide from beyond. Thank you for being with me for this episode. I appreciate your time, and leave me a message about what you had done in the past to deal with sadness and grief and loss, so you can teach all of us. Thank you so much for traveling this journey with me. I appreciate it. I'm wearing the Patriot jackets because they are entering the AFC Championship this weekend, and I do hope they will win. Live your life, feel the sadness, but still live your life, because that's what the deceased loved one would like you to do. Don't block any feelings. Meditate on sadness. Meditate on the life that your loved one had, not how they passed away or so on. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.